And then we get a crowd pop when Fink announces it's time for the cat fight. Then Val Venus comes out as a special referee for this match. Val says that while WrestleMania only comes once a year, the big Valvoski comes every single night. Classic bit of Val Venus pre-match stuff, which brings us to Terri Runnels versus the Cat. 2.5 minute cat fight with Val Venus as a special guest referee, which ends when Terri is thrown out of the ring, but Val misses it and Moolah then drags Cat out, at which point Val sees Cat out of the ring and awards the match to Terri. So the way you won this, by the way, is just to throw your opponent out of the ring. So Stephen, I know we've spoken a lot about work rate and technical proficiency in the ring. How did you think this matched up to the likes of Okada, Tanahashi, Ospreay, Omega, and the like?
At least it was short, I suppose. But all of my observations aren't about the quality of wrestling in this. The first one, Val had a shiny towel around his waist, and I thought, I can't imagine that material would be particularly good for drying your hair after maybe a dip in the pool. So not a great towel. He also snogged both girls, and May tried to get her boobs out again, and May snogged Val. And I was left with one question at the conclusion of this match. Was the WWF actually in 2000? Because it felt a lot like that.
I know what you meant. Watching this, I was a bit like, oh, maybe I've been wrong all these years, because I genuinely do believe this is the best year in WWE's history. I just think this is an aberration. This show is an aberration. Yeah. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, look, as you said, Mae Young did what she did at the Rumble earlier in the year, which wasn't particularly a pleasant thing that they did. So, yeah, maybe I am wrong.
Do you know what? This weekend, I've seen Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, and I've seen Asuka versus Bianca Belair, and then I've seen this. And what a massive gap in difference and how far we've come along, eh? And not only that, because it's almost, it's evident on this show how night and day they could be in terms of how they present some of the women on their roster. Because soon after you had Chyna, who always seemed like a big deal, no matter what she was doing. And then you have this, which I'm not sure really what it says. I mean, the fact that the crowd popped quite a bit when the match was announced and they're ready for the cat fight. They were looking forward to it, which, okay, all right. Again, don't quite know what that says about the audience at the time. The only sort of other observation I've got is that initially I wrote down that I thought that Val Venus was probably one of the luckiest people around to be selected for the referee, until obviously he then had to kiss Mae Young as well. And in fact, he probably had to kiss her longer than both Terri and Kat. So yeah, he got screwed in the end. Something tells me just there were people in the back who were probably laughing their head off of that. Thinking,
sure, yeah.
Ha ha, Val. This was no good. What else can you say about it? Jerry King Lawler probably had the time of his life, though.
This match is kind of characterized by the final moments, which is after the match is finished. Mae Young Bronco Busters Moolah, and then Kat unsuccessfully tries to rip off Terri's trousers, very unsuccessfully, and that's the end of the match. And that kind of sums it all up, really, for me.